So, how do you come up with game ideas? This is a question I was asked by a friend several times. I actually don't know him, but we have been quote unquote friends on Discord for a while now, and that is simply because of our mutual interest in coding, in specific game development. We met on the Java server. I switched over to Unity shortly after that, and he was also on the Unity server, which is pretty cool. And I've taught him a lot of things, and I show him a lot of things, and he showed me a lot of things. But the one thing I cannot show him, or could not until this day, was how do you come up with original idea projects? Now, to start us off, there is no such thing as original. Everything has been done before in some form or fashion. Something is not completely original. It's almost impossible to come up with something that is completely original. It can always be compared to something else. That's number one. Number two, if you're a beginner, you should not be ashamed of the fact that you copied another idea. It's actually good that you copy another idea because you are setting an example, a goal in mind, and you're seeing, alright, what does this goal look like? And now I'm going to copy it and learn from it. Now, doing that later in life, it's not such a good idea, or at least I would assume, since I'm still a kid. But I have so many game ideas, and I, what I can't show you is how to make a good game idea. What I can show you is how I come up with my game ideas, how I do this creative thinking. So let's start it off with I'm always thinking of a new game idea project. It's like an addiction of constantly thinking of a game idea project. When I have nothing to do, I'm thinking of a game idea project, and just that constant thinking about game ideas. Just I eventually come up with one. just one day or another. It just I eventually come up with one, and I'll figure out a project idea, and then I'll maybe ditch it, or maybe I'll modify it so that it's a little more original. Nothing can be completely original, but you can make it different than other ideas, or games that have already been released. I personally have created two games, one of which was a very was it was more of a combination between Flappy Bird and Swing Copters. The graphics were a little different. The mechanics were much different. However, the concept still maintained intact by the Dot Gears company from the Dot Gears company. But that doesn't mean I'm ashamed of it. I'm happy I published it because it shows that I've learned something from it. Alright, now going back to actually creating ideas, the most important thing that I can suggest is combining. Now, I actually have a new game that I'm about to release. It has to do with math. You combine numbers to create equations, etc. It's supposed to be one of those mindless games. And here's the thing, and it's called UNESCO, which in Latin means combine. Ironically, I dropped Latin. It's required. I go, or it was required. I go to a private school where it's required. And a lot of people actually ask me, how do I come up with idea names? But then at the same time, they're asking me, why the fuck do you learn Latin? Well, first of all, it's good for linguistics. Second of all, it's really good for coming up with names. Latin language is really cool. I'm just really bad at grammar, and I could not keep up. But actually using vocabulary from it is pretty cool and pretty fun to do. You can impress people. Anyways, then second thing, or third thing actually, is, and this is the most important part, always look for new concepts. No, that didn't make any sense. Always look for new. I just had the word on the tip of my tongue. What was it? Always look for new features. Now, what do I mean by features? Um, always look for new tools. New things that you can do. And these tools don't have to necessarily be original. For example, let's just open up my Opera GX browser, or Chrome, basically. I can search for Unity, and what I did that day, the other day, was I just searched YouTube. I went to Unity, I searched that, and I just I scrolled. I looked at what's new, what's trending, what are some good cool concepts to know. And then I saw Ludus. What's it called? Ludum dare, which is Latin. Coincidentally, it's Latin, just like how I suggest. If you're thinking of a game name, and you can't think of anything, that's actually that feels unique. Because you go on to the App Store and you see all this useless shit, like Running Man 3D stuff like that. Latin is perfect place to go when you can't think of a name and you're absolutely stuck. And I was searching on here. Right now it's not popping up, but I was searching on here and I found a oh wait, here it is. I found this. Actually, I found this a while ago. And this was just like me at school, had nothing to do. I had a free period. I did my homework. Now I wanted to code. Couldn't do it because school puts passwords on my MacBooks that they give us, and I wanted to code, but I can't. So what do? I think of game idea options. How do I do that? Well, I brainstorm. That doesn't mean writing anything down. I'm just constantly thinking. Go on YouTube. I just search Unity, look for new features, and I found this. And eventually, well, today, I found a video about gravity, changing gravity in Unity. And then I thought, oh, I never thought of doing that. Okay, I can change gravity. What can I do with that? And I came up with a game idea, which I'm going to work on over the summer, where you switch gravities, and that is the main concept of the game. And then I came up with a bunch of ideas, and I'm like, well, this one idea isn't enough to create a full game. And then I started combining some ideas, and thus was born Outrun. Fuck. Out. Outrun. Are you shitting me? Out. Fuck. Anyways, Outrun, which is a parkour game. But there's so many different features, unique features. I'm going to be releasing it on the Oculus Store, so stay tuned. Yeah. That, and, I just, whoops. So, main thing to take away from this is always brainstorm. Don't always shoot down an idea because you think it is unoriginal. Never do that. No idea is ever completely original. And just because it's not original doesn't, or not completely original, doesn't mean it's a bad idea. In fact, building game ideas off of previous games that have been successful or that you think are fun is like the key part of making good games. Alright, so going back, it would be always brainstorming and watching, just researching for new ideas or new tools that you can use with Unity, and think how you can utilize those in order to make unique games. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day. Goodbye.